In this video, I'm going to talk about what motivates human beings. Well, actually, everything that's living. There are essentially just two ways that life is motivated. One is fear of death, and the other one is desire. So, fear and desire. Athletes are humans, so athletes are motivated the same way. What that means? There's pain and pleasure, and it's a choice which way you want to motivate yourself. You either want more of the pain to get going, or you want more of the pleasure. For example, you wouldn't move until it's necessary. The slogan of "don't fix it if it ain't broken." That means that for the evolution to take place, and evolution is progress. So if something is stagnant, it needs to continue going. How does life evolutionize us? How does life push us to get going? When it's painful, it's kick in the butt. You either fly voluntarily because you love to fly, or you get kick in the butt, and either way you're going to be flying. It's just your choice whether you want to kick it in the butt or learn how to fly and enjoy the flight. The other way is pleasure, seeking of pleasure. It's also a choice. However, the pain and pleasure differ. The capacity to take in. One gets the pain because it feels like it's being stuffed by events. I'm fed up. That's how people usually say. Or they say, I want more. When athletes drive their fuel from pain, that's the frustration and fear. So for example, a quarterback will run super fast because he's afraid of his father's disapproval when he comes home. So to avoid pain or disapproval of a parent, they'll run as fast as they can because the pain of disapproval or maybe abuse is going to be more severe than the effort and the pain from exhaustion when they're running. So essentially, the fueling type is pain. For another athlete, let's say a downhill skier, racer, they love speed. They feel free. And every time they gain that ultimate high speed on their skis, they feel freedom. And that's what they thrive. So every time they race, they want more and more and more because it gives them that opportunity. From a racer position, that's what I experienced. When you race at a high speed, there's a point where you face the fear of high speed, but you push through that and you break through, and it feels like everything around you just slow down. You see everything happening in slow motion, but you're able to react and even predict. It's almost like seeing the future. It's an interesting state to describe, but you feel entirety. It's that sense of freedom that you just get aligned with everything that's living. That's the ultimate sense of unity with life, so to say. And that sense would drive someone to perfect the skill, because athletes that are not stupid, they're not going to expose themselves to danger and potential injury if they know that they don't have the skill yet to go to the next level of speed. So in a sense, the desire creates mastery. The pain creates misery. It's again a choice. Do you want misery or do you want mastery? What's also interesting, we're looking at population as a whole, the earning population. We're looking at the buying behavior of the person who's in misery and the person who pursues more pleasure. People who pursue more pleasure, they're also higher earning. They also thrive to have more and gain more pleasure of living. People who are in misery avoid life. They look at life as a beast that they need to control and tame and prevent and predict. So their decision is powered by fear. And the marketing machine is also exploiting that. When you look at the luxury product and luxury services, the presentation is, let us give you more. Let us give you better. let us give you the best. When you're catering to the misery, though, and that's the population that strives through saving money, limiting their expenditures, limiting their responsibilities, limiting their fear. So the insurance company, not to say anything against businesses, there's a luxury client, there's an ordinary client, and unfortunately the ordinary client most likely is driven by fear. The fear is also where marketing knocks on the door, because they try to trigger that response that it's an immediate need that needs to be covered because it's safety. A lot of the times it's safety one way or the other, there's multiple levels of safety, but that's what it is. When the athlete is driven by pain, a lot of the times it yields instant fast acceleration, but it's not a sustainable result. So what happens to athletes who use pain as their fueling type is that they die of exhaustion. The pain fueling exhausts nervous system, where the pleasure fueling recreates, regenerates, rejuvenates nervous system. Again, it's a choice. However, it's also a habitual way to fuel action. See, life is stressful one way or the other. It's constant stressors to get us moving. That's how we evolve. It's natural, it's normal. We all go through it on one level or the other. Now, to go through a stress voluntarily is the desire part, because let's say I want to fly first class when I'm traveling. However, I know that for me to fly first class, and if I've never traveled before, I at least need to start traveling and to put an effort to choose a destination where I want to go. Then maybe I'll start economy. Then I'm saying, okay, I need to make more money. I'll create more problem-solving product, and then I'll get to the place at first class flying. So I'm taking the stressor, I am expanding my base. I need additional energy or additional resources to create something or to expand my spendings in order for me to fly first class. The pain fuel, they usually say, oh my gosh, I have to fly first class, even if they are able to afford first class. They will say, okay, I need to fly first class because on that plane in first class, I'm able to have a conversation with this person. And if I don't have it, my business will collapse. So that's a different fueling type. Here in the desire is, what do I want to gain? The pain is, what do I not want to enter my life? Here, this is self-certainty that I'm able to handle the stress because of number of resources. It's not only money, it can be, a ingenious mind of an engineer, multiple sources of resources. Here, the person is unconscious of their resources or doesn't believe in their ability to handle certain events. And so because they're uncertain, they're running away from it, they're not able to face it, but in a sense, that fear is chasing them everywhere they go. Here, the desire, the effort to want, the psyche is still using energy to want, just a different type of energy. And here, the psyche is fearing and is also spending energy, and so it's running away. Here is fast result, because it's immediate threat. Here, the person is able to undertake longer processes in certainty of achieving the desirable outcome. The athlete who fuels on desire, for example, they enjoy the game, they enjoy the sense of unity with the team, they enjoy performing in front of crowds, is able to maintain their health and avoid injuries longer than the athlete who is fueled by fear. And fear is also hatred, aggression, frustration. So the negativity, the taxing part of the fuel. if the psyche is habitually choosing fear as their fueling type, it's going to take a mental effort to change the neural path in the brain of what do I want? Do I want more pain? Do I want more pleasure? Sucker for pain, it's not just a saying, it's an archetype. It's a person who, in order for them to get going, need to experience something painful. And once it's painful, the body is releasing a certain amount of energy to get rid of the pain. That's one way the psyche fuels action. Or the person just absolutely loves the feeling what life brings and it wants more. Another way of doing it is when the wolf is hungry, it runs, catches the prey, and eats as a reward. So they've been doing that multiple times. So the wolf will always have energy to go and catch the prey. That means when the athlete wants to experience more of what gives them pleasure, the psyche will always fuel that because in the end, it will get a reward. Now, see, a lot of athletes and a lot of coaches are focusing on the result that is measurable because a score is measurable, because the time is measurable, because, I know, lifts are measurable. The psyche doesn't have the measure. It's only the brain that has the measure. The psyche knows how it feels, and only then it will fuel it. So, for example, a weightlifter, the mind, the brain, is focusing on the amount of weight that's been lifted for a certain result. The psyche, however, to fuel that, it doesn't care, 100 pounds, 200 pounds, 500 pounds. Who cares? It doesn't mean anything. But the psyche knows that when the weightlifter lifts up the weight, and for example, wins the competition, it's awarded a trip to the Maldives. I'm completely, taking it off top of my head, but the psyche knows that last time this athlete went to the Maldives, it had tasty food, had great experience, relaxed, enjoyed life, and said, oh my gosh, it is what I'm living for. So the athlete who wants to switch from the pain fueling type into the desire fueling type needs to find what is it that they absolutely love about their sport. Maybe it's how the body is moving when they're running. Maybe it's the crowd that's supporting them. Maybe it's their parents who are watching them on TV. It needs to have something that is bigger than the quantifiable amount of whatever. And when they're going through that, they will go through certain withdrawals because the psyche will, in the uncertainty time or in the high pressure, it will roll back to the habitual. And it's the strength of the effort of the intention that's going to drive the athlete into the other fueling type that's going to enhance their health, their performance, and their longevity within sport and outside of the sport. I hope that was comprehensive enough. If you could let me know in the comments whether that delivery clicked with you and whether that makes sense. Because if it didn't, I'll reiterate it and I will shoot another video where I explain it differently.